So this one we're looking at cryptid, which are mythical creatures that may or may not exist. In this one, it's a Yowie, which, to be fair, is kind of the noise that you make when you trap your scrotum in your flies of your jeans. Have I ever done that? No, of course I haven't. Have a look.
In May 2021, Queensland-based Yowie researcher Dean Harrison and his team are testing out infrared cameras at Springbrook National Park. They picked this spot because they believe they've seen traces of Yowie activity.
Yowie. What is a Yowie?
Among the brush. And that night, they captured this mysterious footage. The thermal imagery seems to show a solitary figure hiding behind or even hugging a large tree trunk.
Now this is doing what Yowies do. They hug a tree, pretend they're a part of a tree if there's a human in the area, and they just blend. So you can see.
So Yowies are tree huggers. Those people who stop protests. Stop trees being cut down.
Deep in the woods of North Carolina, an extremist eco group called Earth First bewails the violation of American nature.
I want to mourn the loss of all the old growth trees I've seen, and tell them that we love them and that we don't want them to die.
Him just putting his head in.
Minutes later, the image changes. Now it looks like there's a couple.
Two giant creatures emerge from the foliage, and one is bending down to pick up something.
How do you know the giant? I suppose for me, we'd need to know the dimensions. So if they know the distance and they know the height of the tree, and you can make some sort of measurement of how big these things are. It's hard to tell from this how big they are, but he said giant creatures.
As it bends over, you can also make out what looks like one of the creature's heads.
Yeah, it does.
Cone-shaped. The figures are large with wide shoulders and ape-like proportions. Field researcher Cliff Barrickman, who has been to Australia to study the Yowie, says the footage aligns with descriptions from indigenous peoples.
I'll tell you what, do not skip leg day. Don't skip leg day at the gym, folks.
Going back centuries.
All of the Aborigines down there have drawings on the walls of caves depicting these things. They're prevalent in their storytelling traditions as well. But then the settlers came in the late 1700s, and they too.
I don't know why it's holding its hands up for. You just see the size of that thing. You just pick both those blokes up with the guns and just go. Done.
Started running into Yowies.
I mean, it looks nothing like a Bigfoot, which is what we're talking about here. You got the Yeti, which is the abominable snowman, a Bigfoot, and then you got Yowie. Is Yowie just a Australian Bigfoot?
Which is another very strong indicator that they're a real biological animal.
Except no corpses have ever been found.
No trace left, mate.
Now, Bigfoot-like creatures are part of folklore the world over. Nepal has the Yeti, Mongolia has the Alma. And one theory is that they all descended from a single Asian ancestor, some of whom made it to Australia, while others crossed the Bering Land Bridge, came to North America, and evolved into Bigfoot. If this video is real, it could help prove that theory, but that's a big if.
No video is going to prove a theory. Corpse, DNA, those things will prove a theory.
There's some sort of subject, creature, person, if you will. It's something that's emitting a heat signature. And as we go through different FLIR filter arrays, this object's movement is consistent. There is something happening in here that's moving around.
Look at the footage.
I mean, it does look like an ape. I will say that it does look like an ape.
With this filter, now the head comes into better view. It appears to have a pronounced sagittal crest, a ridge of bone along the top of the cranium.
Easy for you to say.
It's similar to what's seen in the skulls of the early hominid Australopithecus, which some believe to be the common ancestor of Bigfoot, Yowie, and other similar creatures. But Primo is cautious.
Although we have not found any evidence to support that the recording was fabricated, We have no idea what is being depicted here.
Next, our zoologist Roxy Furman analyzes the anatomy of the figures.
What we can see clearly at one point is that there are two animals pictured. It also looks like it's a bipedal animal, which means it walks on two legs.
I don't know if you can tell that from this video, to be honest.
That might have you thinking primate, but here's a key fact. There are no known primates native to Australia. In fact, the only bipedal animals are the cassowary and the kangaroo, which look nothing like this. So how do we explain...
I mean, Australia's got everything else that can kill you. Everything. Snakes, massive spiders.
The heat signatures in those head shapes.
Kangaroos that just want to punch your face in, and strangle dogs.
The first time a dog has been rescued from this particular
that poor
kangaroo.
Dog.
Look at him.
And
oh, no, put him up, put him up. Here we go. Oh!
Furman thinks she may have the answer. People wearing headlamps.
That would explain why the head's a slightly strange shape.
That would mean the people were either misidentified or they're participants in an elaborate hoax, maybe Australia's version of the Patterson-Gimlin film, if that was a hoax too. But anthropologist Kathy Strain says that in this case, size does matter. The research team went back to the spot in daylight and measured the tree, matching the thermal footage as best they could.
Yeah, 8 foot tall, but I suppose one of the things is if you were going to hoax it, then one of the things that would get called out is, oh, it's only 6 foot, so it could be a bloke stood behind a tree. So you would factor that in with the hoax and basically stand on a box or stand on a ladder or climb further up the tree a little bit to make it look like it's an 8 foot tall Bigfoot. Sorry, Yowie.
To get a sense of the size of the figures in the infrared video.
Whatever it is more than 8 feet tall. The possibility of them being human is highly unlikely. I came to the conclusion that what this video shows are two real Yowie. I think it is one of the most significant films taken in at least 50 years.
You can't say this absolutely shows two Yowie when all you've got is not even a full body, but partial thermal image of something behind a tree, and there's no proof that a Yowie even exists. People have been searching for Bigfoots for about 100 years. Have you found any actual concrete evidence that a Bigfoot exists? Not one corpse. Not one corpse. Why is that? Tell you why. Because they probably don't exist.
So yes, there's a possibility that this is a hoax. But based on Professor Strain's estimate of the creature's height, we're going to say these are possible Yowies.
Possible Yowies. I don't know, you can say something's a possible Yowie if you don't know that Yowies exist. So that 5 times fast. Anyway, yeah. I don't know how they got from that to that. It's just a little partial thermal image of something. I mean, it could have been, I don't know, what climbs up. Kangaroos don't get to 8 feet. I don't know. I don't know what they've got in Australia. Everything. Apart from monkeys, apparently. Anyway, it was an interesting segment, and I'll see you on the next one. See you in a bit.